It's a bright green light for tech stocks, not just into year end, but I mean, we believe that next 2 to 3 years, the tech bull market continues to play out. Look, it's a fourth industrial revolution in terms of AI, biggest tech theme in the last 40, 50 years. The only thing stopping, or maybe like the ceiling on tech stocks, was Fed. Now with rates cutting, I believe, look, this is just a risk on, and the winners, it's still going to be big tech, but now the second, third, fourth derivatives, those start to play out. And that's what you're starting to see play out across the market. We continue to think in the AI party, we've talked, it started off at 9 p.m. It's now about 10:15 p.m. And that
fun hasn't even started.
And
really.
that party goes to 4 a.m. Now look, between that, there could be glass on the dance floor, DJ stops playing music, maybe cops come. At the end of the day, the Bulls and the Bears meet up at 6 a.m. Bulls had a lot better night than the Bears.
All right, so let's maybe break down the market. There's the Mag 7, like the big guys.
Not only do tech stocks have a bright future ahead of them, but we think the tech bull market will continue to expand over the next 2 to 3 years. Look, AI is the biggest tech topic of the last 40 to 50 years, and this is the fourth industrial revolution. The Fed was the sole thing halting or possibly capping tech stocks. The winners will still be large tech, but now that rates are being lowered, I think the second, third, and fourth derivatives are beginning to materialize. And you're beginning to observe that happening all throughout the market. We're still thinking about the AI party. We've spoken, and that one hasn't even begun yet. It began at 9 p.m. and is currently around 10:15 p.m. additionally. The celebration lasts till 4 a.m. There might be glass on the dance floor in between those things. The DJ ends the song. Perhaps police arrive. Ultimately, the Bears and Bulls square off at 6 a.m. The Bulls outperformed the Bears that evening. Okay, so perhaps we should dissect the market. Like the big boys, there's the Mag 7. What do you think will happen? Are they and others the big winners here? Look, I believe that Nvidia has a market capitalization of about $5 trillion and will eventually reach $6 trillion. Look, the AI revolution is being fueled by a single chip worldwide. The demand-to-supply ratio for their chip is still 12 to 1 at the moment. Additionally, others will point out that China is attempting to purchase those chips and may be attempting to avoid big tech, as evidenced by a lot of the headlines. In actuality, they are years ahead of Huawei and all other Chinese competitors. Then you consider the hyperscalers, such as our top choices, Microsoft, Oracle, and When I consider Alphabet, I consider what has transpired with Amazon. Because, on the hyperscale, only 3% of businesses have truly chosen to embrace AI, and less than 50% of workloads are currently on the cloud. Over the next few years, we're talking about spending between $3 and $4 trillion. Look, AI 30 is the entirety of our AI. Who are the names of the software? In the next 2 to 3 years, Palantir, the Messi of AI, is expected to reach $1 trillion market valuation. Snowflake, MongoDB, and then the remaining CPUs, AMD, and Broadcom, especially as autonomous and robotics develop. I still think Tesla and Nvidia are the two top physical AI companies. I've always seen Tesla as a disruptive tech firm rather than an automaker, which is why I've been so optimistic about them. What is the premise of the continued existence of, say, Oracle or some of these hyperscalers? We already know why they're winning, but how do you believe it won't stop for another 4, 5, or 6 years? Yes, the idea is that for every dollar spent on an Nvidia chip, the rest of the tech industry gets multiplied by about $8 to $10. All right? So what you're witnessing right now is that the initial investment in Nvidia in 2023 and 2024 is beginning to ripple across the IT industry. The stack is owned by Oracle. If you're an Oracle client and you're switching to AI, I would say that for every dollar you've spent with Oracle over the past 10 years, you could be able to get back not just that dollar, but $50 in AI. You begin to connect the dots. That's why this most recent quarter was so astounding. However, since we're still in the early stages, it's one of our top choices in terms of the space. Consider what's going on in the world. UK, take a look at the Middle East, where all the main tech is American, including the United Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia. My main argument is that, as someone who has flown 3 million miles over the past 25 years, I frequently find myself in China or Taiwan before you arrive in the United States and ask yourself, are we ever going to catch them? The United States has surpassed China in technology for the first time in 3 decades. That's the secret. American big tech is spearheading the AI revolution, which is now spreading globally. When we examine this, we'll also find I'll refer to it as energy infrastructure hardware. But on the energy side, you have the data centers and power generation. What do you enjoy about what you see there? On the nuclear side, Aqua has been one of our favorites. After all, GE, we're also really optimistic about Riova, since I believe that the utility grids and energy sectors will all be affected by the second and third derivatives that are currently developing in AI. You require roughly 6 to 8 times as much power as you currently possess. Today, there are more data centers under construction than there are data centers in operation. Because of this, when you consider AI, the transaction is more than just technology in terms of big tech. It's playing the energy side as well. As good examples, it plays the names of the infrastructure, such as CoreWeave and Nemesis. Because of this, we have 30 names that, in my opinion, are the best method to play it. Perhaps in 2023 to 2024, I would say to whomever I'm at, retail or anywhere, I spoke, look, eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Watch sports and Netflix, and purchase Nvidia. It's simply Nvidia, and relax now. You invest, and each time it sells off, due to the bears emerging from hibernation or the haters, you make another purchase. The trade is still that way. AI has only one godfather, Jensen, who is dressed in a black leather jacket. However, it is now affecting the rest of technology. I keep saying that this bull market you talk about the Fed cutting is just fueling that kind of engine because of this. Furthermore, I believe that I would much rather be in the left lane of a Ferrari with tech names driving at 100 miles per hour in terms of value, and will tech not be the leader? There will be speed bumps. Instead of being in the value right lane in a minivan traveling at 45 miles per hour with a bumper sticker that reads, "My kid was an honor student in 3rd grade. You will receive a couple speeding citations and points on your license." The thing is that I still see myself as wanting to be on the left flank. Will Berkshire give in and begin purchasing AI stocks at last? Look, Buffett is the greatest of all time, isn't he? However, my perspective is clearly far more value-centric. In fact, if you look at Apple and a number of the other companies that they have sold off, now that some of these companies are beginning to become more in that convergence, I think I could see Berkshire. My opinion is okay, albeit it might not be some of the core technology. Take a look at Intel's current state. You could argue that Nvidia and the US government have effectively introduced Intel into the AI space. Therefore, I believe you will would be surprised if you don't see Berkshire moving further along that line and investing. Perhaps even if it's not just in tangential technology, but also in energy and infrastructure. You may now look at things like hardware when we see other businesses who are involved with AI as an example. You can look at Tesla and other businesses that are essentially using AI. As I repeat all the time, Tesla is like teaching computers to see. That appears to be a significant issue. Regarding some of those names, how do you feel? I take it that Tesla has been a favorite of ours for decades. In my opinion, the autonomous value alone is worth at least $1 trillion. And I believe that Tesla we discussed $2 trillion as a foundation. But in a bull case scenario, it might reach $3 trillion because, you see, this isn't just about selling cars. I believe that everyone has missed Tesla, but you have to look at things from a different perspective now. Musk, the CEO, throughout the conflict, I think, concentrated a lot on robotaxis. The autonomous world will belong to them. In fact, given the size and extent, I firmly believe that the rounding error will ultimately be Waymo. Additionally, our team observed it in Austin, and we anticipate that you will continue to expand throughout San Francisco, Los Angeles, and eventually here in New York, between 30 and 35 cities over the course of the next few years. You see, 20% of cars will be driven by themselves. There, Tesla is transforming the globe. Additionally, you begin to consider robotics and other related topics. Tesla is a major player in Optimus, since Nvidia is a physical AI play. When you consider AI, I frequently run across individuals on the street who say, "Oh, I tried ChatGPT in terms of where we are." I think, hey, that's like breadcrumbs, before the appetizer, before the actual meal. The 4th industrial revolution is upon us, which is why big tech is becoming more powerful. Regarding hardware and AI, Do you have any additional names that you find intriguing?